Hey guys, welcome to the review show. My name's Austin, the Batman starring Robert Pattinson. Bruce Wayne has been roaming around in the dark, in the shadows for about 2 years as Batman. The police aren't really too sure about him yet, but he has a good friendship with Gordon, and he teams up with James Gordon to take down the Riddler after these surprise killings emerge. I did like the like my one of the biggest films I was like looking forward to. This would be like number one. This was like easily like the one I was like really looking forward to. And if this like it failed, I was like retiring for the whole year. If this like, because recently movies have not been good this year. Like it ended terribly and it started terribly. So it's like I'm about to lose it. And I was really happy how this became. And I'm so glad how good this movie is. Now, a lot of people, I told people like how my thoughts is, and it's like, oh, of course you say that, and it's like, not every movie is perfect, for one. Like, even Jurassic Park isn't perfect, but that movie is so good in its own way that I don't care about whatever nitpicks you say, and they're like tiny nitpicks as well. But here, this movie does have its problems. But before we get into those problems, I want to talk about the good stuff. I really want to talk about the good stuff. Robert Pattinson as Batman is really good. I love him as Batman. I think he is like the best Batman that we've got recently. You can say whatever about Ben Affleck. I like Ben Affleck, but we're never gonna get his solo movie or what that was planned with him. So I can't really say that much about his Batman. Really, his like, there's nothing to his Batman to compare to Robert Pattinson. Besides that, that awesome scene in the abandoned building and BVS, which is a movie I don't really like in general. So yeah, I'm really happy how good he is as Batman and Bruce Wayne. From the trailers, he kind of looked like a punk type of Bruce Wayne. I was like, I don't know, your hairstyle isn't like up to par what I imagine Bruce Wayne would have, but I can let that pass and look at his performance, and it's really great. It's really great stuff. Zoe, I forget her last name, but she plays Catwoman, and she kind of drags the film a little bit, but her purpose is kind of cool to see. But her like romance with Batman is like, oh, okay, I guess we're here already at that point, and I guess we're in the. I don't want no. That's a negative. Stay away from the negatives. Everyone in this film does great. The prosthetics on Penguin. I really need to write this actor's names down. I wrote like most of the actors' names down, but this one I decided not to for some reason. But the prosthetics on his face is so good that you can't even tell that it's him. Andy Serkis. That's not how you say his name. I'm just bad with names in general, guys. Him as Alfred is really good. He doesn't really have a purpose in the film. Wish he had more of a purpose. But he is a good Alfred, and I would like to see him continue on. The soundtrack, I love the soundtrack. The trip, I don't know what to say to it. It's amazing. It's one of the best soundtracks that came from like a DCU comic. It's not even a DCU movie. The DCU's dead. All right. The DC um, like movies. It's one of the best. It's like up there with Christopher Nolan's trilogy music. It's really great stuff. The action, when it's there. This is hardly an action movie. This is more a detective movie, which is what really made me excited for this movie, because it's like, all right, and I was like, all right, not a lot of action. That's fine, but I like detective movies. I like that type of stuff. So I was like, I'll go, I'll go see it and see how well it pulls it off. And for the most part, it's a good detective movie. It's not the greatest. It's good. When the Riddler's putting out his clues and all, it's like I'm there saying like, okay, trying to figure out the clues as well with Batman, and that's all, and that's just fun. Like that's always fun to do. And when it comes, and we'll talk a little bit more about the clues and like the riddles and all that later on. But it's really great stuff. Like I really love this movie, and I wish that it was an A, but it's not. It's not an A because for certain reasons, and that it becomes to the Riddler himself. Now the actor, he does a perfection as the Riddler. I think he was very creepy whenever he was on screen. He just brings this like creepiness to the character, which is great, and which everyone does in this film. But his plan and his purpose, I don't really like. I find it very generic because for me, from the trailers, of the looks of the trailers and how the film plays itself, I thought this was going to have like a deeper message, a deeper meaning, and like a darker history. But it just comes off very generic. It's like, oh, so you really didn't need any of the riddles to do that. You didn't. And like, there's a whole entire scene with Bruce Wayne, doing like connect the dots, on the floor, and it's in the trailer, so it's not really a spoiler or anything. And so he's trying to connect everything together, but it has no purpose. It literally has no purpose because none of these people really have a connection. They sort of do, but it's like at the same time, it's like they're all doing their own thing and have their own reasoning. They don't really have any connections besides maybe one or two. And that's really the only problem I have with, like, it's literally his Riddle stuff. It's the Riddler and his purpose. Everything else is great. Even Catwoman, she has a side plot which takes up a good chunk of the film, makes it reason why it's 3 hours long, which we don't really need it because it has nothing to really do with the Riddler stuff, even though it somehow interplays with it. But again, it has nothing to do with anything what's going on. It's just, oh, that's convenient that this is going on right now, and while the Riddler's somehow, also interplaying with it. It has no connection to what's going on. It's just very convenient, which is a lot of his riddles. It's like, oh, that's very convenient as well. Like how did you even get that? Because one of the riddles has no clue at all how you can get this answer. They're like, oh, it's such and such, and it's like, and they do the thing to figure out the answer for the riddle. It's like, how did you get that? It's like, it doesn't make any sense, and I'm probably do a spoiler review. I don't know, but it's just to talk about certain things because it's really hard to talk about this movie without going into like full depth. But I was just really going into to it for a full-on detective, which we do get a full-on detective, but like a deeper meaning for it, something new, something different. Because the trailers in the movie was hinting that the Riddler had somewhat of a past with these people, but he doesn't. It doesn't ever go that route. It's like a complete different turn when it comes to the ending of the movie, which is where it's kind of starts to fall apart. And that's the biggest complaint I can give this movie. Nothing else I can really give besides that ending and the Riddler himself as a character in this movie. They already announced 2 sequels, and they're getting a spin-off TV shows for HBO Max, which I will watch. I'm really excited to see what they have in store. HBO Max has been putting out bangers when it comes to shows. Peacemaker is great. I love that show. So I'm looking forward to those 2 shows and the 2 sequels for the Batman. I'm gonna give the Batman a B-. It's really good. This is definitely not a movie that you would see again because of how long it is, and that's another thing of how long the movie is. It's just like it's way too long for a movie, especially because it starts to drag a little bit, somewhat in the second act, and so it's like, okay, some stuff you can cut out, like the Catwoman stuff, because it doesn't really have any purpose. Save that for the sequel, maybe, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the Batman. If you guys really loved it, great. I'm happy for you. But there's certain things I just can't stop looking at, and that really bugs me, and that is the Riddler stuff. Everything else is great, but the Riddler stuff has so much impact to the movie and so much important to it. That's why it brings down the grade, and next some of those little stuff as well bring it down. Yeah, let me know what you guys thought of the Batman down below. Thank you guys for watching, and like always, I'll see you guys in the next review.